Week 1 of the NFL preseason showed promise for the new-look Lions. The 2 top draft picks illustrated flashes of hope, while a new team toughness became apparent. Tonight, another good test for the Lions as the Giants come to Ford Field. Week 2 of the NFL preseason kicks off next. Slay loves a challenge. He and the Lions hosted their first ever dual practice in Allen Park this week, welcoming in Odell Beckham and the Giants, and the Giants gave him quite a test. Tonight, 2 of the best at their respective positions are ready to renew their college rivalry. The Lions welcome in the G-Men for preseason game number 2 and the home opener here in Detroit on the Lions Television Network. Hi, everyone. Alongside my partner, 4-time Pro Bowl linebacker Chris Spielman, I'm Matt Shepard. Last week, a lot of expectations, a lot of anticipation for Detroit's top 2 draft picks. You seem impressed with Frank Ragnow and with Kerryon Johnson. What'd you like most about him?
Let's start with Frank, the number 1 pick. And what I liked about Frank was that he struggled early in the week, but as the game came, Frank brought his game. Now let's take a look at some of the run blocking. This was on Abdullah's touchdown run. See how he sustains his block, doesn't come off his man, and pushes his man over the pile. Again, hands inside, and he's sustaining his block and finishing as best he can. That's outstanding work by the young fella. Kerryon Johnson, what do you want out of running back? First of all, can he break tackles? Yes, he can. He proved that. Does he have patience, Matt? Does he have vision? Looks like it there. Does he have a little shake? Gave him a leg and took it away. And finishing runs. Also being able to catch the ball in the backfield. This is what Kerryon Johnson at least brought last week. The key is, can you do it again?
Defensively, plenty of room for improvement. There's no question about that. When the Raiders rushed for 147 yards, it causes some concern. But you were really impressed with a couple of defensive linemen. Deshaun Hand, the 4th-round pick out of Alabama, and Anthony Zettel was everywhere.
Yeah, the line as a whole, the front 7 was awful last week. But let's talk with a guy that I like, is Anthony Zettel. I would love to play with this guy because of this effort. First of all, he gets off the block. He pursues down the line of scrimmage and makes tackles. That's 2 in a row. You will win with effort like that from Anthony Zettel. A rookie, what are we going to get? I don't know. Here's Deshaun Hand, the 4th-round pick out of Alabama. Good. Defeating his man one-on-one. Good use of fundamentals, what Patricia teaches by using his hands. And right there, Matt, you see that dude? Yeah. He's making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, not out of the line of scrimmage. Great effort by both those guys last week.
Nothing brings a bigger smile to Chris Spielman's face than a defensive player making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Matt Patricia also raved about Tracy Walker, the 3rd-round safety. We expect to see him a little bit more in a 1st and 2nd group package tonight against the Giants as well. Will we see Matthew Stafford make his debut? We didn't last week against Oakland. We expect to see number 9 under center when Lions football kicks off next. Lions football is brought to you by the 2018 F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Get up, get out, and soak in the summer with Labatt Blue and Labatt Blue Light. Always enjoy responsibly. And by Gatorade, the proven sports fuel of the Detroit Lions. Lions and Giants throughout the week were in Allen Park preparing for this night and preparing for the rest of the preseason and regular season. Tori Petrie was at every single practice. Good evening, Tori.
Thank you so much, Matt. Like you guys mentioned, the Lions just wrapped 2 weeks in a row of joint practices. And while 2 in a row isn't the norm around the league, head coach Matt Patricia is used to it. The Patriots held 2 sets of joint practices in 5 of his 6 years as defensive coordinator there. He says he likes when you have 1 at home and 1 on the road. Last week on the road against the Raiders, they got used to different stressors like travel and a new environment. But this week at home against the Giants, you're able to have the comfort level of your own facility and just focus on getting better at football. Both weeks beneficial for their own reasons. Matt?
Tori's Sideline Report brought to you by the Henry Ford Health System. Thanks, Tori. And Tori will talk with Hall of Famer Barry Sanders, a former teammate of my partner Chris Spielman, a little bit later on in the broadcast. You don't want to miss that.
The best there ever was. No doubt about it. Had a chance to play with him, had a chance to play against him. When I played against him, put me on his highlight film like everybody else.
It's quite the challenge, isn't it?
Oh, man. Well, go try to tackle that mosquito that's flying around in here right now. It's the same thing.
Here's the coin flip. Matthew Stafford and Gerard Davis, the captains for Detroit on this Friday night. Glad you're with us. The Giants have won the toss. They have deferred. The Lions will get the football first to start preseason game number 2. I don't know if you had a chance to watch us last week in Oakland, but there are some new rules to the kickoffs. And Chris Spielman, what jumps out at you most? A lot of people will look at where you cannot block, but you told us last week when you played 5 years of special teams, you didn't block in that area anyway.
Yeah, I played right here in this position, and we always picked up our blocks right there at the 35, about 25 or 35 yard line. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. The biggest difference is in the back end. You want to have 3 guys back there, Matt, that can handle the football. Sometimes in the old days, we used to see linemen or linebackers or defensive linemen back there as big body blockers. That's changed because now you have skilled people back there to handle the ball.
And no wedges, so that means you and I cannot necessarily go arm in arm and try to run up and block somebody who's about to tackle one of our teammates who returns the kick.
A lot of these guys who try to make the special team, you see right there in the lineup, there's no running start. And believe me, Matt, the NFL put a lot of money into studying this in the offseason. And this is one thing that they came up with to hopefully reduce any type of concussions that happen on special teams, especially this, the kickoff.
Last week we saw Amir Abdullah return kickoffs. Today is the electrifying rookie, Kerryon Johnson, out of Auburn, the second-round choice. And what a game he had last week against the Raiders. We're underway, the Giants and the Lions. And it'll be Johnson from his 4. Just past the 20. Matthew Stafford did not play last week, but is excited to get at least a couple of series here tonight. Last year, 3rd in the league in throwing, 4th in the league in touchdowns, a career low in 10 picks, and also 6th in the league in completion percentage. Johnson to the 25. Check that. Amir Abdullah to the 25. Tonight's offensive starting lineup is brought to you by Ford. And Abdullah had a nice week last week. Chris Spielman impressed with what he was able to do. Just 4 carries, but averaged 4 yards per touch. And had a nice grab as well. Graham Glasgow missed some practice time this week, but is back at center with Frank Ragnow and TJ Lang next to him.
There's one thing that Abdullah's been plagued with, even coming out of college, Matt, was his ability to hold on to the football. And this is caused because he's caused to change his direction in the backfield. You're going to see at the line of scrimmage, watch the offensive lineman get pushed into the backfield. Right here, that's Glasgow right there. And you're going up against one of the best in the business, Damon Snacks Harrison. So what you can do to prevent that is have that right guard put a hand to help slow him down. That's tough duty to snap the ball and block a great penetrator like Harrison.
Harrison, a first-team All-Pro selection in 2016. Throwing situation for Stafford and the Lions. They need 8 to move the chains. Pocket collapses, and so does Stafford.
Kerry Wynn winning a one-on-one battle inside.
There's no foul on the play. As though the play is 4th down.
Right here, working one-on-one and just does a good job of power rushing and bull rushing. Just outstanding effort by Kerry Wynn. Always throwing a counter, and he had to leverage.
6-year out of Richmond. Sam Martin will punt it away.
Beating Kenny Wiggins.
Hunter Sharp backpedals. Fumbled it a little bit to 27. Nice move to get to the 36 or so. Nick Ballore down making the tackle. The Giants will start Davis Webb, the 2nd-year pro out of Cal. Last week played 7 series and threw for 70 yards. That was his senior year at California. Last year did throw 34 passes for 190 yards. Giants won't play Eli Manning tonight.
Unfortunately, also missing is Saquon Barkley, who tweaked his hamstring earlier in the week.
Yeah, I was looking forward to watching him play a little bit. Instead, you get Jonathan Stewart. He's swallowed up right away. Stewart, Carolina's all-time leading rusher and number 2 all-time in touchdowns. Jared Davis made the tackle.
This is growth from Jared Davis right here, being patient. Watch Jared not pursue the ball, but understand where his gap responsibility is. Last year at this time, he would have overrun that play. This time, he stays patient, reads the shoulders of the back, and stays in the hole to make an outstanding open field tackle.
Davis with 96 tackles last year, most by any first-year player or NFL rookie. Webb will throw underneath, caught on a curl route, shy of the 1st down. Rhett Ellison, the former Viking, makes the reception. Tonight's defensive starting lineup is brought to you by Hungry Howie's. We talked about Anthony Zettel and his pursuit of the football last week and how much he impressed Chris Spielman. Ashawn Robinson needs to improve a little bit. Those linebackers, a lot expected of Christian Jones and Devon Kennard. Darius Slay's the best in the business, or one of the best in the business, I should say. Led the league last year in picks and pass breakups. 3rd and 1 for the Giants. And a timeout for Pat Shurmur on the sideline, the former Divine Child and Michigan State grad. In his 1st year in New York.
I believe that guy was a tremendous center in college football right there.
Yep, sure was. He was actually an honorable mention All-American. He was all Big Ten and an honorable mention All-American.
Yeah, just Pat's such an unassuming guy. Very smart, bright, fierce competitor. I mean, absolutely a fierce competitor on the field. And certainly my memories against Michigan State as an Ohio State Buckeye, I remember playing against that guy.
A guy who's been a head coach before, too, Chris. He was a head coach in Cleveland, remember? A lot of people didn't feel like he was given enough of a shot there.
Nobody is.
Saquon Barkley cheering from the sideline.
Except Hugh Jackson.
He's going to be a dazzling.
Nice. Stewart. Get in there, Jared. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. I got it right away. Davis with a solid 1st series for Detroit on defense.
I love the fact that Matt Patricia is getting aggressive right here. This is a great job by Jared Davis coming through on block. Take a look right here on the snap of the ball, avoiding blockers, seeing that hole, and like a running back, Matt, linebackers, if you see an open hole, you hit that hole and it's great penetration. And again, open field tackle on a powerful guy in Jonathan Stewart.
How does that happen? How does a middle linebacker go untouched like that?
Because the guard screwed up. The guard's head was down. He didn't see him fly through.
1st team All-Pro a year ago, Jamal Agnew with a fair catch at the 16. Lions still take over. Defense very stout early on at Ford Field. 2nd offensive series of the night for the Lions. Rick Wagner is a guy who played 62 of a possible 64 games from 2013 through 16. Last year missed 3 games with injury. He's had a quiet camp by many people, but when you I know you're not talking a lot about an offensive lineman. You feel pretty good about it. He's had a really solid camp, even though not many people have talked about 71 in blue. Stafford will throw it, slings it, caught by Marvin Jones at the 26-yard line. And those two right there hooking up last year for 61 catches. A career best 1,100 yards for Marvin Jones, and he was 4th in the NFL in touchdowns with 9. They love that type of camaraderie between those two. Good synergy.
I think it's smart by Matt Patricia to bring back a Jim Bob Cooter, because if you want to have synergy between Stafford and Jones Jr., you keep the play caller because they have synergy with him. Now we got a three-way synergy, which is a good synergy.
It's an excellent synergy. You know what Stafford has done under Cooter the last 40 games. Here's Abdullah squeezing through a hole and getting a first down to the 31. Good hard run, and Matt Patricia goes right back to him even though he fumbled earlier.
Well, you're good, and let's get excited here for our #1 draft pick and Frank Ragnow, the ability to pull and kick out. Watch this, patient, kicks out, creates that hole just enough for Abdullah to deliver a blow and get good positive yards on 2nd down. Excellent job, Frank Ragnow. You need to keep your head up or they're going to call you a penalty on you, number 20.
Abdullah the lone setback on a first down play here for Detroit. Blitz comes, Abdullah picks it up. Deep ball down the sideline and incomplete. Good coverage by Janoris Jenkins, a Pro Bowler a couple of years ago on Marvin Jones.
Well, Janoris almost got a penalty for his head being down on that last tackle. This is what he gets paid to do, is cover. Outstanding coverage. You see that left hand, Matt? Defensive backs are taught to do that. When you're able to disrupt the stride of the wide receiver by swatting at his arm, that throws off his stride and slows him down a little bit. Good technique right there by Janoris Jenkins. That's taught, by the way, and coached.
Empty set, Theo Riddick into the game for Detroit. In the slot on the left.
Tough matchup for linebackers. Good call, Matt. Good vision by you.
Stafford double pops. There it is. Middle of the field. Big game.
Well, we just said it's a tough matchup, and it's a tough matchup from Alec Ogletree, who came over as a free agent to the Giants from Rams. Look at him smiling. That's child's play. Look, this is nothing against Alec Ogletree. He can do this to anybody, anytime, anywhere. He's got an option route. The problem is Ogletree gave him a two-way go. When you play a guy like Theo Riddick, you only want to give him a one-way go. That way you eventually know where he's going to go. But if you square him up, he'll square you up and put you on his highlight film.
Picked up 42, Kerryon Johnson. Now the lone setback for the Lions on their 2nd drive of the night. Here's the rookie. Darts his way close to the 25.
He really has a presence and a natural feel for the position. There's just little jump cuts, right? And little side steps. Like he actually shuffles through the hole sideways, facing toward the sidelines of the Giants. He does a good job of not presenting himself as a square target. He's able to get skinny, become a small target.
Almost 1,400 yards a year ago at Auburn, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year.
Former linebacker Nick Palorin at fullback.
Johnson behind him. Good play action. Stafford all kinds of time, strong arms it incomplete. Intended for Marvin Jones.
I got to be honest with you. I think during the season that Matthew will take off and run with that football. He's such a good athlete, and he's an excellent scrambler. He has all this space. There's nobody in front of him. And I see what he's trying to do, but I think right now, during the regular season, he's going to go and take that and get 6 or 7 yards.
Riddick to his left, had 53 rocks a year ago. And has a catch already tonight. Good pocket, Stafford steps up, and his arm hits. And that's an incomplete pass, and he grabs that right elbow a little bit, and that should be enough for anybody to look at and say, okay, we've seen enough.
Yeah, number 96, Kareem Martin's going to come off the edge, working on Wagner, and again, he is able to get that leverage. Wagner's almost a little bit too soft in his set, gets pushed back into the quarterback, and I love the effort by Kareem Martin, understanding he's not going to get there, but throws that long wingspan flipper in there to get the elbow of Stafford.
Martin just signed as a free agent in March of this year after originally being a third-round pick of Arizona. We're going to reset the game clock. So Matt Prater will take dead aim from about the 34, 35-yard line.
What a weapon he's been. That's awesome. You know, to have that, it's almost automatic with this guy. Such a luxury.
Chris, he's at 77% conversion rate in his career from 50 yards or more.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Solid.
It's number 2 all time.
That's the best praise I'll ever give a kicker. Done.
It's up.
And good.
And it is through. So Matthew Stafford and the Lions score on their second possession. The big play, a 42-yard pitch and catch to Theo Riddick. Matt Prater good from 44 yards away. Detroit draws first blood here against the Giants. A scoring drive brought to you by Ford. A little less than 3 minutes. A little bit more than the half of the football field for Detroit.
Nice Rambo reference. Like it.
Hunter Sharp is back deep to receive the kickoff from Sam Martin. Hear him scream short. He'll take it at the 7. And was a fumble.
Get on there, fight for it.
He got it back, or a teammate recovered it, but Nick Ballore was just flying down the field. 43 in blue. Check it out.
Well, this is how Nick Ballore is going to make the team. I mean, they're not going to do a lot of fullback stuff. The ball is poked out of there. Actually, a good job by number 53 for the Lions, Trevor Bates. He's the one that poked it out of there, and Ballore finished him off. Had a chance for an opportunity.
Second series for Davis Webb. Pressure comes. As his arm going forward, Sylvester Williams scoops it up and rumbles his way into the end zone.
So you want an impact linebacker playing against his old team? Let's take a look at number 42, Devon Kennard, lined up with defensive end. Nice rip move. Is able to swat that hand away. And the big fellow slides, Sylvester Williams. Here's what I love, Matt. Look at it. Now watch. He could fall on the ball, but he trusts his athletic ability. He picks it up as opposed to just falling on it and tries to get it into the end zone, and it's just short. But how about Devon Kennard playing against his old team? I got something for you. Nice. Strip sack.
They're going to review it, but no matter how it's ruled, that's a nice play. That's a lot of man, Sylvester Williams. 328, taking it close to the goal line. Is it the Lions on the 1-yard line, or the Giants get a break? We'll soon find out.
Lions ball, 2nd and 10 on the 21-yard line. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 7:43.
Okay, so the referee tells us that it's been overturned, it's been reviewed, and it's been changed. Giants ball. Davis Webb's arm was in motion.
Yeah, it's a nice job by Ricky Jean, not Jean, Ricky Jean-Francois, Devon Kennard, 2 of Bob Quinn's pickups in the offseason, get into pressure and almost creating a big play for the Lions team.
2nd down and 10 for New York. Gallman on a draw. Good shake to get to the 25-yard line. Wayne Gallman from Clemson, originally a 4th-round pick. Devon Kennard in on the tackle.
Watch Khalif Raymond, number 83. You're going to see a safety come up into the box. And again, if you want to play in this league as a wide receiver, you have to be able to block. Take a look. What? That's the block right there. And that's how you make a football team, when you do the little things. That's Khalif Raymond. 3rd-year pro out of Holy Cross. They got him from Denver.
Personal foul. Offense, number 87. Blindside block. Half the distance penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Sterling Shepard.
So I think this is I think a point of emphasis. Let's see, that 87, I had it wrong. It was 80, it looks like 83. So they had it wrong. Sterling Shepard was on the other side of the field. They just got the number wrong. I thought that was a good block. I think more what they're trying to get to, and this is where I'm a little disappointed, is the fact that they want you to get to kind of screen the guy and not take him out. Right. They took him out. It's almost like a defensive player rule. That's the rules. Change or get out.
2nd and 19. Webb pump fakes. To his back, Gallman out of the backfield and drilled right away. Good coverage by Jamal Agnew.
Good thing he pump faked, because I believe it was Glover Quinn who read his mail, read his eyes, and he was able to pull that ball down, because if he throws it, we're all singing the Lions fight song right now for a touchdown.
Quinn has 19 picks with Detroit since he's came on board.
Yeah, he had to pull that one down, because that was going the other way, and a great break on the football by 27, Glover Quinn.
3rd and 17 now.
Agnew. Wrap him up, Agnew. See Zella moving inside, Matt. Defensive end going inside.
Stun up front. Gallman lofting near sideline. Oh, what a grab! Down the near sideline, Sterling Shepard, the 3rd-year pro out of Oklahoma. And Webb put that one right where it had to be.
It was a great throw, wasn't it? I mean, right on time, right on target. And it starts up front by these guys doing a good job of creating that pocket for Davis Webb to step up into and throwing your man open. He's working on Lawson, whose coverage is not bad, but the ball is just perfectly thrown. And Shepard's able to haul it in and keep 2 feet in bounds. Move the sticks.
Picked up 27. On the ground. Gallman broke to the 3rd layer of that Lions defense to get to midfield. You talked about the offensive line. It's an offensive line. Last year, Chris, 10 different groups they used to start a football game. 2nd most in the NFL, behind Detroit and Green Bay. What they did is they went out, they drafted Will Hernandez in the 2nd round out of UTEP. They brought in Nate Solder from New England. And Eric Flowers, they moved to the right side as a right tackle.
Hernandez, they got the 2nd round, a road grader, a mauler.
Yep, big kid, man. It's 327 pounds. Gallman again. That's a 1st down run for the Giants. Ziggy Ansah in on the tackle. Good to see him playing. He did not play last week against Oakland.
That's important for this team to have Ziggy healthy. He makes your pass coverage better because he's your best pass rusher. 12 sacks last year. Great effort player. He needs to stay healthy.
At 14.5 in 2015. That's what you'd love to see this year. Jonathan Stewart in the offset eye behind Davis Webb. Webb across the middle. Nice grab inside the Lions' 35-yard line. Corey Latimer, the 5th-year pro out of Indiana University.
We have a 2-man route. That means it's max protection and throwing the ball open. Not the prettiest spiral. In fact, that might be the ugliest pass I've ever seen. But Latimer was able to haul it in.
Stewart squeezed his way for a couple on the right side.
Really good work by Christian Jones. Coming from the backside, seeing big Will Hernandez, number 71, pull around. Christian Jones following that puller is able to make a tackle for a 2-yard gain. I can live with 2-yard gain tackles.
Giants following Patrick Omame, a 4th-year pro out of Michigan. Originally an undrafted free agent by San Francisco. Second and long. Deep drop. Underneath. Good coverage. Shane Smith out of the backfield. Had a catch last week. Darius Slay coming up, showing some toughness from that cornerback spot.
And actually doing a good job in his zone coverage and not getting nosy away from him. He's staying out in coverage, and I love the break on the football right here. Good open field tackle. Head is up. Face mask is up. Does a good job of bringing him down and eliminating any yards after catch threat.
Usually pretty vocal during training camp. Not so much this year.
A lot of guys are quiet this year.
3rd and 7 for the Jets. They're 1 for 2 on 3rd downs tonight.
Man coverage.
Dumps it underneath. And Tavon Wilson. Let's see where they marked that. Good coverage by Wilson on Evan Engram. Really good-looking second-year pro out of Ole Miss. Last year, their first-round choice.
So the problem is when you have tight ends that are faster than your defensive backs, and I promise you, Evan Engram ran a 4.42 coming out. It's just tough to cover. They ran a little pick play for Engram to slow down Tavon just enough to get Engram open on a crossing route.
He was on the all-rookie team last year. 64 catches, 4th most by a Giants rookie. The yards, 5th most by a Giants rookie.
Tough matchup. Size and speed.
Stewart. Inside the 20. Ansah crashing down and making the tackle. Now, Ziggy Ansah's told us he's going to move around on that defensive line. Sometimes he's going to stand up, sometimes hand in the dirt, sometimes on the edge, sometimes inside. Why?
Well, I think because you want to create matchups right there, and that's a matchup on Adams, number 89, at tight end, and that's no matchup. Ziggy's going to win that every time, but much like Zettel did last week, you see Ziggy pursuing down the line of scrimmage, punching with his hands so that he doesn't get locked with the offensive blocker. You want to create matchups any way you can with 94.
More play action. Across the middle. Oh, knocked away. Good hands by Darius Slay on the coverage intended for Sterling Shepard.
Well, he and Glover Quinn are in the end zone talking right now because Glover, you saw that little rear end pat by each because Glover Quinn thought he had this interception because, again, he gets a great break on the football, but Darius Slay, outstanding job of undercutting the wide receiver, not panicking, and showing his athletic ability to knock it away.
It's amazing how he's grown, huh?
He's a great player.
Sure is.
Good corners, man. Hard to find.
Empty set. 13th play of the drive for the Giants. Pressure comes. Davis unloads. Caught! And Wilson hauling down Engram, reaching close to the 1st down yard marker.
Excellent coverage right here, but Davis Webb is throwing the ball where only his man has a chance. He gives him a one-way go. That nice little rub route with the good soft hands by Engram and the awareness to reach it out. Quarterback sneak. Get up there. Get up there. They're running the sneak.
4th and short. There it is.
Come on. I mean, come on.
Come on, what? Well, what did they do wrong?
Well, you're the closest guy here, so I got to complain to somebody.
Okay. You don't have to hit me every time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But look, dude, when you line up and they're telling the referees you got to get 11 guys up there and play the percentages, man. It's a quarterback sneak. You should have your linebackers blitzing. Attaboy, Pat's fired up. That's a lot of emotion for Pat Shurmur. But that's just an adjustment that you'll have to make. I mean, you should have, you reduce your line, you put 5 guys over to guard, center guard, you have your linebackers go over the top, and you jump and knock the quarterback sneak down.
When we start the second, the Giants will be 1st and 10 from the Lions 12. Lions lead at 3-0 right here on the Lions Television Network. Deshaun Hand, the rookie out of Alabama, 3 tackles last week, in on this 1st down play. How vital are these types of experiences for him on this close to the goal line situation?
Every snap, no matter where he's on the field, being a rookie.
Good play action by Davis Webb, throws for the end zone, and it is incomplete. And a flag on the play. Darius Slay on the coverage of Cody Latimer.
Actually, not a bad play to take the interference because he was beat on the play.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. The foul occurred in the end zone by rule. Ball be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
Play called by Shurmur on 1st down. Attack the end zone. Latimer does a nice route Runs a little post corner. You see he's beat by Slay. He slows down, and Slay has to turn and is there way before the ball. Good call by the officials.
First and goal for the Giants at the Lions 1. Shane Smith, the fullback. Wayne Gallman, the tailback. Blitz comes. Stretch play. Detroit sniffed it out. Well, we were just talking about Detroit's ability to move side to side.
There's number 52, Christian Jones. Remember we talked to Jared Davis, made a play on short yardage. Again, much like a running back, if you're blitzing, you see a hole, you've got to accelerate and burst through that hole. Exactly what Christian Jones does, and is able to make an outstanding tackle to move him back to 3 yards. You got to be alert. Any type of play action pass here. A little RPO action possibly. Run pass option.
Loss of 2 on that play. Webb pressure. Good athleticism. Rolling, looking, throwing, and it is knocked away. A job well done by Darius Slay, per usual.
Better discipline right here by Slay in his coverage. Man-to-man, you do not look back for the football until it's time to look back for the football. Watch his head. He's going to keep his eyes right now. Once he sees the guy start scrambling, feels the player, look at his, turn his head with his receiver, come back to the quarterback, face the receiver up again. Just tremendous. I mean, that's just as good as it gets in man-to-man coverage by Darius Slay. Use his hands and eyes.
A league best 26 passes defended last year. Third and goal.
Watch
From
this
the 3.
Evan Ingram. Brett.
Is that a delay of game?
Delay game, offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
That really hurts.
Well, it's either on him, it's on the play caller, it's on somebody. Now the noise here, credit to the fans, I think they get the assist because he's calling for the ball. And the center's over there sleeping. Always alert Evan Ingram where he is. Big threat in the red zone for the Giants last year. Number 88.
17th play of this drive, Chris. Davis looks his way, throws underneath, and touchdown, Wayne Gallman.
Matchups on linebackers. Last week, I thought Detroit linebackers were exploited in man-to-man coverage. This week, looks like they don't have the problem fixed. Remember we saw Theo Riddick do this earlier? What happened is Jared Davis, first of all, gives him a two-way go. Second of all, his eyes are peeking back in the backfield, and you can't cover a guy like Wayne Gallman. You have to take away the inside, force them to go to the outside to make the most difficult throw. It's easy pitch and catch for guys. That's the number one matchup every quarterback looks for.
So you keep saying two-way go. That means he can go either way is what you're saying. So you want to defend him so he's forced to go one way.
You want to force him to go one way. You want to force him to go the outside to make the longer throw, plus you have your sideline as a helper.
Pretty impressive drive engineered by Davis Webb, the second-year pro out of Cal, and the Giants lead by 4. Scoring drive by the Giants brought to you by Wallside Windows. They went a long way. It took them a long time, but it was worth it. 7 times they moved the chains. And Davis Webb connects with his tailback, Wayne Gallman, underneath on a 3rd and goal to make it 7-3 Giants.
A lot of questions about Davis Webb. Could he be the potential successor to Eli Manning? I'll tell you, looked pretty good that drive.
Well, his coach, Pat Shermer, said, look, he's wound a little tight. That's just his nature.
Yeah, so am I, you know. We're all good.
Amir Abdullah from the 10. You're not under center, though. Abdullah crushed at the 23-24-yard line. Flag on the play. I think we get that sense about being wound tight. Kerry Wynn made the tackle.
Right now, the Lions have an issue. It has to be addressed. I mean, the past 2 weeks, their man-to-man coverage with their linebackers hasn't been very good.
Personal foul, Detroit, number 82, double team block. Half the distance penalty. Detroit keeps the ball, first down.
There's the new, yeah, go ahead.
That's the rule you were talking about, Luke Wilson.
There's no double teams, but back in the back end. Take a look at the left side of your screen. Right here, go ahead and run it, boys. And right here's Luke Wilson. Somebody's engaged, and he's going to come up and get him. They're engaged, and you can't do a double team. That's a good call by the official. Hey, like I said, you either adapt or get out. It's the rules. We all have to live by the rules.
Good job by the referees to see that. Matthew Stafford in for a third series. Good. Kerryon Johnson, his lone tailback. From his own 11. Minimal gain.
I think once we get the regular season going, you'll see Matthew Stafford and part of the Lions offense, and to help your running game, you got to throw the ball on first and second down.
Yeah.
That just helps everything, and nobody better in the business than number 9. Jim Bob Cooter understands that. Used to be run to throw, now you throw to run.
And actually, as you've taught us throughout the preseasons and during the regular season when we watch you on Fox, you also, your passing game can be an extension of your running game. Stafford, sacked.
Vernon.
Olivier Vernon.
Great pass rusher by the Giants working out here on Taylor Decker. Let's see what happens. Oh, beats him inside. Set him up nice. Taylor Decker went for the bait, and a quick inside move and speed of Vernon, and Ragnow late to the party for the help.
Basically 3 guys, isn't it? Decker, Ragnow, and Johnson all trying to get him.
Very good football player, Olivier Vernon.
Second team All-Pro, former second team All-Pro. Big pickup by the Giants at 16. Riddick spinning his way past the 11-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. You're going to love the way Theo Riddick, what he does with the football, Chris. I mean, he is electric, isn't he?
Now, he's dynamic, and I don't think, everybody thinks about Theo Riddick and think, well, all Theo can do is catch the ball out of the backfield. Well,
right.
If you watch the Lions and you know this football team, he can run the football. Right here, he does a good job of avoiding the tackle of Eli Apple to pick up 3 extra yards.
Sam Martin to punt it away. Line drive spiral. On the run from the 45. Good field position for Hunter Sharp and the Giants. Short field, and they're already up 4. Talked about a few players on defense. Anthony Zettel, Deshaun Hand, Tracy Walker. Alex Barrett's another guy who impressed you last week. What do you like most about his versatility, Chris?
He works hard. He can play linebacker. He can play defensive end. I thought he played well last week, and guess what? Matt Patricia in our meeting yesterday confirmed that. Excellent worker. Good chance to make this football team.
Davis Webb of the Giants. Rhett Ellison couldn't haul it in. Torrey Petrie.
Matt, we've been seeing a lot of Darius Slay in this game, but not a lot of Darius Slay versus OBJ since OBJ isn't playing. The good part about those joint practices, though, is that we got to see them go up against each other all week. Remember, OBJ went to LSU, and he talked about it this week, that he's been going up against Slay since his Mississippi State days. He says it's always fun to go up against him. There's good energy when they see each other. He called Slay one of the best corners in the league and said they just love competing against each other.
Yeah, you loved watching that matchup, didn't you? It was a lot of fun to see those 2 guys square off. Didn't see it as much as we wanted to. Odell Beckham Jr., Chris, one of the better wide receivers in the game today. 3 times over 1,000 yards, already second in franchise history. But here's a good one for you. It took him just 30 games to reach 200 reception, fewest in NFL history. It also took him just 30 games to reach 3,000 yards. That's the 4th quickest in NFL history. And there's the matchup that Torrey Petrie was referring to back in their collegiate days.
I love what Torrey said, too. Both those guys are uber competitors, man. They get after it.
3rd and 10 for the Giants. Webb on a slant route is caught. Lawson, good coverage. They get down to the 40, but Khalif Raymond didn't get far enough to move the chains.
It's a nice job by Nevin Lawson. Right here, working, getting physical up there. Not allowing him to catch the ball and get the first down. Man-to-man coverage. Nevin Lawson will compete.
Sure will.
Everybody talks about Slade Jr. out there, right?
Yeah.
Nevin Lawson, he's ready to fight every play in a good way, not in a bad way.
He started the last 40 games he's played.
He has.
Gallman, the lone tailback, on a 4th and 3. Like what Pat Shermer's doing here. Why not with your 4th down opportunity? Slant knocked away by Darius Slay.
It's a bad read by Davis Webb. They had a pick with Wayne Gallman wide open in the flat. They picked Jalen Ray's Maven, but Darius Slay. If I got a 4th and 3, I think I'll stay away from Slay. Don't you?
Jake Rudock takes over. He pilots this team, needing to go 60 yards. LeGarrette Blount now in at tailback. 5 carries, 21 yards last week against Oakland. Rudock needs to be sharper than he was against the Raiders. False start against the Lions. Michael Roberts.
False start. Offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
He's just a little bit anxious right there. He knew 96 was going to slant inside. He didn't want to get beat inside, so he jumped early.
Sure doesn't make your offensive coordinator happy. You lose 5 on the play. Rudock working with a lot of ones here, Chris. Blount going the wrong way.
I think he's given the opportunity to try to make this football team. We saw last week, and I don't know if it was a message or not a message, but if I were the quarterback, I would take it as a message.
Where Matt Castle came in and engineered the 2-minute drive.
Thank you.
Saying,
yeah. And so, just looking at that replay right there, that's looked like the old Lions offensive line. Got to move people. But yeah, so he's got a chance to kind of make a name for himself again, compete.
Kareem Martin with his 2nd tackle of the night. 2nd down and 16. So a loss of 1 there. Rudock on a slant. Caught inside or past the 40, I should say, by Kenny Golladay.
Throw right there by Jake to get them into a manageable 3rd down. This little switch route, you get a nice little pick and rub from Golden Tate running up the field, allowing Golladay to work inside on Eli Apple.
A lot of ones working for New York. That was Eli Apple, as you mentioned, a former 1st-round pick, 10th overall in 2016 out of Ohio State.
Had some troubles last year in New York. He's got a fresh start with Pat Shermer, a fresh start with his teammates.
Rudock. And drilled out of bounds right there is a tight end who's been pretty darn good. Hakeem Valles. He didn't get the 1st down, but he's a big body with sure hands, and he can block. He's making a bid to make this team.
Yeah, he did a nice job last week. And I thought right there, I thought Jake kind of hurried his throw. He didn't let any throws develop or routes develop down the field. It seemed to me, in his mind, he knew where he was going to go with that football. But Valles is a nice player.
Sharp lets it bounce behind him and into the end zone. Giants already up 7-3 here at Ford Field. They take over next. Lions football is brought to you by Ticketmaster. Buy and sell Lions tickets at Ticketmaster.com, the official ticketing partner of the Detroit Lions. Get up, get out, and soak in the summer with Labatt Blue. Labatt Blue Light. Always enjoy responsibly. And by Kroger, an official tailgate partner of the Detroit Lions. Alongside Chris Spielman, Torrey Petrie, I'm Matt Shepard. Giants lead at 7-3. Davis Webb going back to work. Deep ball down the sideline. I want to grab at the 40-yard line. Hauling it in there was Russell Shepard. Beautiful catch from the 6-year pro out of LSU.
How about the throw? This is a trust throw. When you're a guy like Davis Webb and you've connected on a couple tough ones, you're not afraid or you're not tentative to throw it into traffic where you feel like your guy's going to go up and get the football. Shepard did, beating Jamal Agnew. Not bad coverage, just got to find the football. Play through the hands.
Shepard 2 catches last week against Cleveland. Jalen Simmons the lone setback. He gets his first carry of the night. Jitterbugs his way close to the 35.
He's engaged. He likes to see his teammates do well. And this team had an awful year last year for the New York Giants. I did a couple of their games, and they were just awful. And there's renewed hope with a coaching change. Maybe Eli Manning's going to be renewed. You have Saquon Barkley, and you have 13. That's a pretty good start. Yeah, and Evan Ingram is a good tight end.
Excellent. 3-13. The 13 losses, a franchise record. Fewest wins since '83. That's why they dumped Jerry Reese and Ben McAdoo, the GM and the head coach. Detroit ended up at the 41.
Look, they're not going to have the ball stuffed down their throat like they did last week. So how do you prevent that? Let's bring Tavon Wilson up on a blitz. I like everything Tavon's doing. Just you have a chance to make that tackle, you have to make it in the backfield. But excellent pursuit. Good job by Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Corey Hyder Jr. Let's go, everybody. Party at the football. Why not? Good job, Kerry. Way to run to the ball, Kerry.
Matt Patricia really liked what Jalen Reeves-Maybin has brought to the table.
He's had a good camp.
Yeah. He's got some speed. He might be the lightest linebacker, but Giants have 8 first downs on the night. Lions have just 2. Webb throws. Ellison with a grab. And a nice tackle right away by Tavon Wilson. There you go. He was listening to you, Chris.
And a good job in, to keep the head out of the tackle. He has a good break on the football, but watch his head position right here. He's going to move it off to the side. See that? That's an excellent job, and it's still good physical football. So everybody that tweets me that panicking that football's dead, watch that football. It's alive.
Hey, listen, that's not easy, too. That kid's a big kid. Rhett Ellison, 6'5", 255, out of USC. Originally a 4th-round pick by your brother in Minnesota. Back in 2012.
Father, former linebacker Ricky Ellison, played at USC and had a nice career with the San Francisco 49ers. Formerly known as Ricky Gray.
First charge, timeout, Detroit. 30 seconds.
I can keep going if you want.
I think his sister was a swimmer at Michigan.
Yeah, there you go. Better job by his defense. I thought the front so far in this first half.
Better than against Oakland?
Yeah, he was concerned a little bit, and he should be. I mean, it was just not a very good performance, and a lot of it was fundamentals, but I think gap responsibility, that's what concerned him. Remember last week, if you watch the game, it's Paul Pasquale right there, who hired Matt as a GA at Syracuse. Their contained defense wasn't very good, and what I mean by contained defense is that there's always a player that's responsible for not letting the ball get outside. Well, they broke down a number of times last week, so far tonight, much better by that man's defense and Matt Patricia.
Yeah, last week they gave up almost 6 yards per play. Aldrich Rosas will try a 55-yard field goal attempt. You see his numbers from 50 or better. 18 of 25 a year ago, out of the hold of Riley Dixon. Zach Diassi, the long snapper. The bad snap did not matter. Giants collect more points. They'll take it. Not exactly what you want. There is a flag on the play.
Great job by Riley Dixon, though, huh? Getting that ball down.
They picked it up. They picked up the flag, so the points are good. And the Giants' lead is now 7.
Nice job. Snap slow. Riley Dixon. Laces out, Finkel.
Boy, that's a great looking shot, isn't it? Just where you want to hit it. And what have you always said? If the ball's rotating like that, you know he's got good length on it. Lions season tickets are still available starting at just $417 per seat. Call now to learn how you can earn $50 in stadium credit when you purchase season tickets during tonight's broadcast. Call 313-262-2222 to speak to a representative right now. That's 313-262-2222. I'll tell you what, the Lions have done something not many teams are doing. Just a couple teams in the NFL are doing. They're packaging some stuff together that is really making it affordable for folks. Get out here, get an opportunity to see a really quality product, and do it at an inexpensive price for drinks and food. Fantastic stuff. We'll talk with Rod Wood later in the preseason about it.
Ford family, Rod Wood doing a great job getting everybody out the ball.
Amir Abdullah wants to return this. On the charge from the 6, fumbled it and picked it up on a bounce. And tripped up at the 15-yard line. Kerry Wynn has been everywhere for New York.
That's an athlete right there. When you have a 70s number and you're running down on kickoffs, that's a pretty good thing. And that's the classic mistake of taking your eye off the football.
That's what happened with Abdullah, I guess, right? Taking his eye off the football a little bit.
Gary Wynn, 72, man. You got a 70s number and you're making tackles inside the 20 on kickoffs.
Yeah, he played at Richmond, D2 program, right? The Spiders.
FCS.
1st and 10 for Jake Rudock, his second series. Here comes a blitz off the edge, and Rudock will run with it. And slide just past the 20.
Really good pickup by that first-team offensive line in there. The blitz does come off the edge. They're sliding to it. That means everybody's moving that way, and you see Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow working in communication. And how important is that when you have Taylor Decker out there and a rookie beside you? They're able to pick up that stunt. That's a very good sign for pass protection for Matthew Stafford moving forward.
Are you surprised that the #1 offensive line unit remains in there this deep into a ball game in preseason game number 2?
No, they need to. They need to play.
Johnson. There's not a lot there. Torrey Petrie's on the sidelines. Torrey?
Guys, you see Frank Ragnow out there. He was talking to us and told us that there was a veteran who told him that every once in a while you need to get away from training camp, take an hour each day to get away from it. So his solution is to FaceTime his mom, his girlfriend, and his chocolate lab bear. He got the dog right before a season-ending ankle injury forced him to finish his college career on the sidelines. So he calls it his therapy dog. It's helping him get through training camp too, so I think that's a fitting name.
Sure is. That's from Christmas 2017. How about those kicks? Red kicks. Rudock strong arms it. First down. Marvin Jones on a nice route coming back to the football.
And a good read by Rudock, seeing the press coverage out there with Marvin Jones Jr. Good route, pushing him up the field and working back to the football, and the ball is placed on time, not allowing the corner to make a break. See him use his eyes there. Even that little look to the left drew some defenders away, and trusting that Marvin Jones Jr. was going to win his battle one-on-one.
Jones and Golden Tate, the only receivers last year with 1,000 yards each on the same team. Impressive. LeGarrette Blount gets the call. Battering ram close to the 28-yard line.
So every defense on first down by the Giants has been a blitz. They're bringing a safety off the edge. So, you might want to run a little bit of a bootleg right into that blitz, and hopefully that guy will bite a little play action, take a shot over the top on first down. The next time you get a first down, that's 2 in a row now. That's just what I think the coaches in the box are telling that guy, Jim Bob Cooter, in his headsets. They're 2 for 2 on the last first downs and blitzing off the edge.
Riddick in, out of the backfield, he'll make the grab. Get to the 32. Theo Riddick, the only running back in the NFL to have 50 receptions or more 3 straight years. So when Chris says too many people label him strictly a pass catcher, that is part of what that label carries with it. Already in his career, all-time in Detroit history among running backs, 3rd in receptions, 5th in yards, and 4th in touchdown receptions.
He's a good runner, but he's a great receiver, and that's why he's in the league, and that's why he's so valuable. See if you can get a matchup on a linebacker right here.
3rd and 5. He picks up a blitz. Flag on the play as Rudock goes down.
About the rookie from Georgia, Lorenzo Carter. 6'5", using that length and just going over the top.
Not bad for a 3rd-round pick.
Getting a good bull rush.
Foul. Defense, number 44. Lowering the head and initiating contact. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's one of those new rules, Chris. Mark Herzlich, 8th year out of BC. Lowering the head, you're trying to get the head injuries out of the game, and this is part of it.
And this is to reinforce to the viewers out there that it doesn't have to be on the ball or the tackler, it just has to be anywhere. And I didn't see it from that angle. Maybe from the end zone we could see it. That's a tough call. I think Pat Shurmur's perplexed.
He also knows the Lions get an automatic first down at the 2-minute warning. Pat Shermer not happy with that last flag that gave Detroit the first down with 2 minutes left here in the opening half. They'll have to live with it as Detroit tries to get their first touchdown of the night. Tipped at the line of scrimmage.
All right, now they're going to call it. Now watch when Theo Riddick, 25, and 44 Herzlich meet. Now they hit face mask. So you can call that on either guy, right? I don't think they lowered their head. Now the NFL put a lot of scientific study and a lot of money into this. Do you know how many concussions took place when face mask hit like that? They actually broke this down. Take a guess.
Couldn't even guess.
Zero. They got to let that one go because that was face mask. That's what the heads.
Rudock to Galladay in Giants territory. Here's the rule Chris is referring to.
See, they didn't lower their helmet. Players lower his helmet to establish linear body position prior to initiating or making contact with helmet. Nobody lowered their head and had a linear body position. I've been a defender of this rule, except now. Now I don't like it.
What about that last point? Contact clearly avoidable.
The two guys are colliding with face masks. They're top of their helmets in linear position did not meet.
Big third down play, and it is incomplete. Flag on the play. B.W. Webb on the coverage. Maybe too close for comfort.
I have to call my man Dean Blandino on that one. Let's take a look at this one.
Pass interference, defense number 37. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic, first down.
See the big target of Galladay, right? So he's so big that B.W. Webb, first of all, he grabs him so he could have got with the hold, then he's holding him again. But that big body makes it tough for a defensive back to get around him.
And that's slow dancing right there. They're that close. 1st and 10. Theo Riddick into the game to the left of Rudock. Screen. Pretty well set up. Tough to get Riddick on that first initial contact. He gets it to the 36.
Velez missed his block, or he's in the end zone. I'm going to tell you, watch Herzlich and Velez. Number 84. They go no huddle here, but if Velez gets a block on Herzlich, the man who made the initial contact, it could be party time.
Picked up 4. Good pocket. To the tight end. Short of the first down. There's Akeem Velez. Had 2 catches last week. He's got a couple tonight. Ray Armstrong made the tackle.
Good job of Jake Rudock managing this drive, making good decisions. Good protection by the Lions.
Under half a minute. 30, or I should say first down throw here and incomplete. Webb on the coverage of Marvin Jones.
It almost looked like he tried to pull that ball back. Like, oh no, I threw it. And that's why the ball was late, because he took something off of it.
Well, we've seen the Giants go for it twice on 4th down. Detroit instead will kick a field goal here.
No, he fired it in there. He's lucky that didn't get picked. Good job. He was off target, threw it behind his man.
49-yard field goal attempt for Matt Prater. 2-time Pro Bowler lines it up. Hits the right upright.
Snap. Good hold. Looked like Rob Aller's golf shot. Slice to the right.
Wow. I think you could have used anybody as an example on the crew for that one. And Prater's not happy about it. It was a good snap from Don Muehlbach, who will play on opening night against the Jets on Monday night. His 213th rather, game in Lions history. 3rd most in franchise history. Webb's going to throw. And it's caught inside Lions territory by Jarrell Adams. Backup tight end, 3rd-year pro out of South Carolina. Miles Killebrew on the coverage.
See, Zetto's going to come on the field late. He's unaccounted for. This is, maybe they had to put this defense in right here. Run on the field late. Nobody will block you.
Just get a running start.
Yeah, I like it.
11 seconds remain in the half.
Tell you one thing right now. I mean, I don't know if Pat Shermer would have played it like this in the regular season because you're backed up a little bit, but he's being aggressive and he's sending a message to his team that I believe in you guys. We can possibly get points out of this. Got to get to the 38 to get a 55-yarder again.
Good. 13 of 18, 14 of 19. Killebrew, good speed, good wrap-up on Adams again.
That's a nice job. That's how he's going to make this football team. Remember, he made a switch from safety to linebacker. And if they don't get better with their linebackers covering man-to-man, maybe Miles Killebrew would become that extra linebacker. But nice closing speed on Evan Ingram. Again, we know that Evan Ingram can bring a 4-4 to the house. Good tackle, too. Nice job of wrapping it up and running through your target. Good job, Miles.
Killebrew recovered a fumble last week against Orlando, or against Oakland, I should say. Six seconds remain in the half. All he's got. And that'll do it for the first half of play. Lions had a big play from Theo Riddick, 42 yards on a receiving end pass from Matthew Stafford, but not nearly enough offense for this team. That's why they trail 10-3 to the Giants at Ford Field on the Lions television network. Lions down 7. Troy Petrie's with the head coach Matt Patricia.
Thanks, Matt. Coach, you said this week you wanted to see improvement from your team off that first preseason game. Where do you feel like you saw improvement in the first half?
Well, I think we got a lot of work to do. We obviously, not a real clean game for us. Too many mistakes. Just really, it's all about us right now. About us trying to do our execution better from the top down. So that's really what we got to do. Really not good enough as far as I'm concerned.
You got to see extended work from your starters in this first half. What did you like from them?
Yeah, I thought, at least from that point, standpoint, with the guys staying out there a little bit longer, I felt, the guys at least handled themselves from a conditioning standpoint. Looked like we were all right. We didn't have anybody kind of, bent over from that standpoint. But I just, again, we just got to keep working to improve.
Thank you so much, Coach. Best of luck in the second half.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Matt?
Tori, thanks. Matthew Stafford, 51 yards passing in the opening half, but 42 coming on one play, and that was to Theo Riddick, the biggest play for Detroit in that opening half. But they trail 10-3 to the Giants as we get set to start the third here at Ford Field. The next week game will take Detroit to Tampa, and then a closeout of the preseason right here against the Cleveland Browns. We expect to see Matt Castle in this second half. Jake Rudock in the opening half, 7 for 9, 31 yards. But too often times, Chris Spielman, we talk about statistics. We use numbers to try and validate or diffuse something that we hear. Jake Rudock 7 for 9, but how many of those throws, how many of those attempts in general were the right throws? That's only you and probably the coaching staff really understand.
Well, I think Jake had a pretty good performance. It was solid. I mean, he didn't force the ball. I thought he missed a couple, but, in fairness to Jake, that he was under pressure a little bit. Right here is a good throw to get started for Golladay. This was the one where I thought maybe he could have let the route develop downfield. Here's a good decision to tuck it and run and get positive yards. Good shot to Marvin Jones. Great working one-on-one. It's always good to get the ball into the hands of number 25, Theo Riddick.
Jake Rudock will have to wait a little while because the Giants, who deferred in that opening half, will get the second half. Kickoff. Ryan Santoso to Khalif Raymond. 3 yards deep, and he'll take a knee. Defensive play of the game. Actually, their plays brought to you by Xfinity. Darius Slay involved here in a number of different plays.
He does a great job of man-to-man coverage. I mean, look, corners don't get paid to play zone. We know that, right? Corners get paid to play man. Not too many do it better than they play slave.
It's a good point. He loves playing man, and that's primarily what he played at Mississippi State. There was a tough adjustment when he first came here as a second-round pick out of Mississippi State. And after a year of zone and various coverages, they just decided to let him play man primarily, and he's really excelled. Kyle Laletta is in at quarterback. He's the rookie out of Richmond, originally a 4th-round pick. And his numbers last week against Cleveland, misfired on a few.
It's interesting, Matt. I'm just watching his defense, and Roland Milligan, a safety, came up and made the tackle for a 1-yard loss. So I'm convinced that Detroit came into this ball game saying they're not going to run the football on us again. That's why you're seeing these safeties. We saw Tavon Wilson in the first half making tackles at or behind the line of scrimmage.
Laletta throws and incomplete, intended for Khalif Raymond.
Good throw right there. That's on Khalif Raymond. He got his head around late. He's got to make that catch. That ball is fitted perfectly. That wasn't overthrown. He just misjudged it.
So you brought up Detroit and the mindset. They're not going to run the football on us. They've got 15 yards on the ground. Last week, it was Oakland, 147 yards on the ground. So last week, it was the running game that hurt Detroit. This week, it's the passing game. Where's the balance?
Yeah, the passing game hasn't been bad. I think the quarterbacks have been really good. I mean, the coverage has been pretty solid. Where the coverage is broken down is at that linebacker position. Cam Johnson jumping a little early.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 57. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Johnson with Cleveland last year. 4th-year pro out of Virginia.
And sometimes, you're trying to get such a head start, and he's trying to time that up with the offensive tackle. The offensive tackle's looking in at the football. As soon as his head turns back out to him, he's timing that up and thinking the guy's going to snap the ball. He tried to get a head start, got caught.
Pressure comes from the edge. Laletta escapes it. Lowers the shoulder, and he's going to come up short on the 1st down attempt. Roland Milligan, you were just talking about him making a play. He makes another one on the series.
Yeah, but I want to go back to the pressure. You see Cam Johnson frustrated coming off the field. You got the guy in sights. I love the fact that he's going for the football right here, but the first thing you want to do is make sure you secure the tackle with one hand and swipe with one hand. You don't want to take a 2-hand swat at the football because you'll miss the tackle. Exactly what happened at 57. Making a menzo for the offsides.
Brandon Powell stands around his 21-yard. Rookie out of Florida will return it. Flag on the play, but into the open. Into the 50-yard line. Let's see if it stands. Riley Dixon, the punter, made the tackle.
And Patricia talked about Brandon Powell, and we pointed him out last week, Matt. He's a difference maker, explosive. Can play a little running back, can play the slot, can move him outside. You want to get him the ball in space.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 18. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Detroit keeps the ball. Timeout.
It's on Chris Lacey, but check out the run by Powell. Pretty good, despite the flag negating it. And Matt Castle checks in at Q for Detroit when we come back. Lions 5th-round pick Terrell Cosby is into the game. He's from Henderson, Nevada. He wears 65. I'll tell you why he changed his number the last game in which he played. He's out of Oregon. He wore number 58 in his last ever NCAA game to commemorate the 58 victims killed in last year's mass shooting in Vegas. He said, even though I wasn't there, I felt like I was. All my friends were affected by it. Crosby, your thoughts on how he played last week against Oakland as he gets ready for this one?
As expected, did some good things and did some bad things, including a holding call that cost him a little bit. You got to be patient with young offensive linemen. I mean, the guy gets a holding call in his first preseason game. Let's cut him, get rid of him. He's not good enough. I mean, you have to have the patience. We'll have Bob Quinn coming up. I'm going to ask him about how he has that patience when you have young guys and you're evaluating young guys.
What do you think is the most difficult transition from college football to pro football from a sports from a position standpoint?
The speed of the game. It's not even close. It's the speed of the players. Everyone's fast. Everyone's good. And everybody's playing for a paycheck as opposed to a meal and books.
Castle. T.J. Jones with a nice grab for a 1st down.
That's just the trust between a quarterback and a receiver. That ball was thrown before T.J. Jones turned his head. But this is when timing comes in. And you talk about the game will get faster as the games go on. This ball's in the air right now. T.J. Jones turns and the ball is being delivered. Good, strong catch. And I love the fact that he does not give himself up. He's fighting for every extra yard, the Lion way.
Jones a career high in catches and yards a year ago. Castle on play action. Deep drop and incomplete. Garrett Blunt, the intended receiver, the three-time Super Bowl champion.
They were hoping for man. What happened? They got zone because he was looking originally for Luke Wilson coming all the way. There's number 82. He's going to come all the way over here. They're in zone, so he's going to run into a zone. That's taken away, so he goes right to his check down to LeGarrette Blunt. Threw it behind him to protect him a little bit because he's throwing him right into a defender if he put it out in front.
A draw to Kerryon Johnson.
That's the burst.
3 flags on the play. A first down run.
I think they might get Wesley Johnson here, number 73. Unfortunately, but take that away. Let's talk about the good of that play.
Run, holding, offense number 73, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Right.
Replay second down.
The good of that play, and we'll see the hold right here. His hands are outside, so that's the easy call for the officials, grabbing the shoulder pads up top. But what's the good? The good of that play is Kerryon Johnson in his burst, in his speed, in the vision, and that little extra gear. That's what I love. When he sees daylight, Matt, bam, he hits the accelerator.
Did that last week in Oakland and had one negated. 2nd and 16. Castle. Jones went right through his hands and it's intercepted. A wall up the sideline and spinning out of bounds after the grab. Ray Armstrong.
Ray Armstrong came over, was a starter last year in San Francisco. Made a lot of plays. Good pass defender as a linebacker, gets the deflection, and Matt, that's on TJ. I mean, that's it. Don't quit on the ball, though. Come on now. If you drop the ball, don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself. You get back into the play, chase the guy down. Maybe he'll fumble because he's carrying him awfully, and somebody will make a play. Don't quit on the play. I know you're frustrated, Matt, but don't quit on the play.
Yeah, but remember, that's why why Matt Patricia continues to work on that strip drill in practice.
Yeah, exactly. That goes for offensive guys when you turn into defenders.
Well, we'll tell you why it was so important for him here in a moment. Jalen Simmons with a little cutback. Patricia does that play religiously in practice, and he does it because of what had taken place with him earlier in his coaching career. It originated from a 2006 playoff game with San Diego. The Chargers had the Pats 21-13, one under 8 minutes left. Tom Brady was picked off by Marlon McCree, but Troy Brown stripped the ball away. The Pats got it back, and they would stage the late comeback and win it 24-21 in the playoffs.
I remember when Maurice Clarett did that in the national championship against Miami for Ohio State. Not to bring Ohio State into every point. That's for all my Michigan fans out there.
Simmons, the lone tailback, good play action. Lalletta's still got it. Weaving his way for 6.
Well, it's a beautiful play action. What do we talk about, right? Contain. Somebody's always responsible for contain. They took advantage of Zettle's over-aggressiveness, and he does a good job of recovering. And Longa right there grabs his knee because he's coming in to make the tackle. Hopefully he'll be okay. And Lalletta's showing a little bit of running back skill.
They continue to attend to Stephen Longa. We hope it's all right. The second-year pro out of Rutgers remains down, and so do the Lions. Nice run by the rookie quarterback out of Richmond, Kyle Lalletta. And an extra point away from making it a 14-point lead. Marshall Cohn on to kick this extra point.
Bad snap last time. Shep, good one there.
This time, right? Drills it right through the uprights. Scoring drive is brought to you by Menards. It was quick after the turnover, and that's really the key to that whole play. Was the interception, the tipped ball by T.J. Jones and intercepted by Ray Armstrong. Matthew Stafford, relatively short night, just a couple of completions. That one to Marvin Jones, and then the one to Theo Riddick was perfect.
I think if you look at Matthew Stafford, he's getting a bunch of valuable reps in practice. Took a couple shots tonight. That one was a little concerning. Anytime you see your franchise quarterback grab his elbow, take a little breath out of you, but he'll be fine. Tough guy, great player.
Let's face it. I mean, every #1 quarterback is important to the success of their franchise, but especially this team.
I want to know all the people that were calling for Jake Rudolph over Matthew Stafford last year. Are they still in that boat, or do they come aboard to Matthew Stafford?
I think they jumped on board.
Okay, because
just taking a guess there.
I remember listening to some radio up here in Detroit, and everybody, bring Rudolph in. Don't pay Stafford. Come on.
Listen, I remember those are his rankings since 2011 in the NFL, and look at the names associated with it. But I remember when he was competing with Dante Culpepper, I got in argument after argument about who should be starting. When people were supporting Culpepper, I was saying, this guy's clearly better. The problem is that bottom line right there. It may be smaller, but it should be bolded like it is. 261 times he's been sacked during that span. Way too much. LeGarrette Blount.
Remember when I talk about defenses kind of get into a rhythm of their own?
Yes.
So here we have a first down defense. Remember the first half what we were talking about? Blitzers off the edge. There's going to be another blitzer coming off the edge by the New York Giants. Again, first downs. Their MO is that they blitz. So Jim Bob Cooter, somebody upstairs say, Jim Bob, they're bringing a blitz off the edge on every first down. Let's run a bootleg at that guy, suck him in, and we'll have a nice little game.
That was Andrew Adams out of UConn. Blunt just pushing the pile close to the 35. How important will he be for this team? Remember, the worst in 3rd and 4th down short yardage situations a year ago.
Well, here's how, and look, it's early, and we get in the position of, okay, let's predict what can happen. Well, here's my prediction. I think Kerryon Johnson's going to be your starter. I think LeGarrette Blount's going to be 1B, and you're going to have Theo Riddick as your 3rd guy. I don't know if Amir Abdullah, we'll see what happens. But right now, as of today, and with the evidence that I have before me, that's how I see it. There's a great short yardage run right there.
That's what he does as well as anybody since he's been in the league, Chris. Lorenzo Carter, the rookie out of Georgia, made the stop.
So what makes a good running back? Making the on-block player miss on 3rd and 1. First of all, patience. Look at the eyes and the vision. Watch this little jump cut for the big fella. See that nice inside move? Beginning of round number 39 for the New York Giants. Great move by LeGarrette Blount, his size.
There you go. 0 to 2 yards in his career. Impressive numbers. Castle with a throw. Billingsley hauled it in and was inbounds.
It's another guy, right? You got Jace Billingsley and Brandon Powell. Well, they're the same guy. They're the same position guy. And Jace is going to be fighting there as long as he's here. And so he's getting a little bit more of a look than Brandon. I'm waiting to see Powell in the 4th quarter, but that's the same guy. So that's a nice little position battle to watch.
Billingsley, 12 catches last year in the preseason with a team-high 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quiet against Oakland. Nice grab there, though. 2nd down run for LeGarrette Blount.
Okay. So we talk about first down. And I want to make a point how teams get in a rhythm. Watch from up here. You're going to see another blitzer come into play. Thank you for clearing that for me, Matt. See him come up late? Right there.
Right there, yep.
And you run right into it, so there's nowhere to run. So in a game plan situation, Castle will probably check off to a pass because you're not going to run the ball where you don't have enough blockers to block all the defenders.
See if he does that here with Kerryon Johnson in the game on a 3rd down and 4.
Got man coverage.
Underneath, Billingsley with some room. A little wiggle, a little strength, and a little push to the 35.
Well, Brandon Powell shined last week, and Jace wanted an opportunity to show what he can do. one thing you can do is win your one-on-one battles. Nice little route, gets a good pick right there by, I believe that's Tololo, who avoids contact but forces the defensive back to redirect, and Matt Castle throws a great ball so the transition from catch to run is smooth.
Play action on first down like you were asking for. He'll run it and slide inside the 30.
Well, they tried to hit him with it, right? They did. I mean, that's the ideal play when you got a 5-man blitz. You're running 3-man pressure. You're keeping 5 in. You see the tight end? That means max protection. So you're keeping in him to pick up any type of blitz. And Castle showing that the old man can still move. Look at him, ball security. Good job, Jim Bob. Glad the coaches were telling you that was coming.
Went through his progressions, right? Yeah. 2nd down and 4. Castle 4 for 6. Ooh. Johnson, make it blunt. Look at him run over Giants for a first down. Well, shoulder to shoulder for Mark Herzlich, who took a tumble.
79 Wiggins got driven into the backfield. But LeGarrette Blount has seen this happen a lot. You see Wiggins get kind of driven. Blount just runs sideways. Then again, acceleration and cutting through the hole. Good ball security and running with power. That's going to happen to guards once in a while. You're going to get driven off the ball. And that was good patience by Blount to avoid getting knocked down by his own man and getting positive yards.
Remember, 2 years ago, he led the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 18. Billingsley couldn't make a man miss. Late flag.
I think we're going to have, see that sign right there? Wrist and had a handout, illegal hands to the face on somebody.
Illegal use of the hands. Hands to the face. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Robert Thomas.
See right here. Robert Thomas. Hands to the face. Good call. You got to have discipline to pull that off. They're not going to miss that. Officials are looking for that. They'll be disciplined with their hands.
Good drive engineered by Castle to the Giants 17. Blount. He does such a good job of stopping and starting and pushing the pile to the 11-yard line.
He's showing tonight. I mean, he's running hard, and he's running to almost make a point that I'm going to show these people in Detroit while we're home how productive I can be. I've been a productive player my whole career, and I'm going to prove to you why Bob Quinn brought me in here. And he's making a point tonight.
Remember, there's a lot of teams wanted LeGarrette Blount. He wanted to come here. Great relationship with Matt Patricia. Why not? Inside the 10. It'll be 3rd and short. That relationship stems from his days in New England. He actually has a sweatshirt with Matt Patricia's face on it.
Well, I mean, if he was trying to make the team, I'd say that'd be a suck-up. But he's pretty solid in his standing with Matt Patricia. And who wouldn't want that face on a sweatshirt?
Kerryon Johnson in on 3rd down and 2 at the 9. Lions 4 for 9 on 3rd down tonight. Castle to throw for the corner. And almost intercepted. That was dangerous. Intended for Michael Roberts and knocked away by Michael Thomas, the 5th-year pro out of Stanford.
This tremendous coverage, right? You got a corner on a tight end. Michael Roberts does not create any separation. Michael Thomas, great body position, looking back for the football and playing the hands. Got to be a little bit more stout in your pass protection so that Matt Castle can step into that throw.
Lions going for it on 4th down and 2. LeGarrette Blount, the battering ram, is in as the lone tailback. And he'll get the call. But he won't get the first down. Giants defense holds. They're in front by 14 in Detroit. 17-3, Giants in front. A little less than 3.5 remaining here in the third, back at Ford Field. Glad you're with us on this Friday night as the Lions square off against the Giants. They've got Tampa next week in Tampa, and then Cleveland will close things out before a Monday night stage kickoff against the New York Jets to open things up. We'll talk with the architect of this Lions club, Bob Quinn, here in a moment. The general manager standing by with us. First, a play for the Giants on the ground. Jalen Simmons stretched out a little bit. Well, you have constructed this team. You want them to be powerful. You want them to be strong. What's your take early on from camp, more specifically than the preseason games?
Yeah, training camp's been really good for us. You know, just first week and a half at Ellen Park, kind of going against each other, then going out to Napa for that week, which is really good work against the Raiders. And then this week was excellent against the Giants in the 3 practices we had. So, you know, we're getting there. We're not there yet. You know, obviously we haven't really moved the ball too much today until that last drive. So it was good to kind of see the running game get going a little bit there. We just couldn't punch it in. What do you like most about the attitude, the DNA of your team early on? Yeah, I think we have a tough team. I think we have a lot of physical, smart, competitive players that, you know, are really working hard. They're kind of buying into the system that Matt's trying to install.
Bob, how patient should fans be with offensive linemen? Because at times, especially young ones, right? At times they flash, and other times they just go through a learning experience, especially if you bring a guy like Ragnow and you expect him to start. Yeah, I mean, you draft a guy in the first round, you hope he can step in and play pretty quickly, and I think Frank's going to be able to do that. I think he's proven to us, at least to this date in training camp, that he's going to be able to help us out there at guard and center. So. I thought he played pretty well last week. Last week he did play well, yeah. I mean, I haven't watched the tape yet, obviously, this game, but, you know, in practices in the first preseason game, he looks like he's going to be able to handle it.
You always want competition. Depth is always a challenge for anybody to build with a team that might have been struggling a little bit when they first take over. Do you feel like you've got the necessary depth on this team? Yeah, I think our depth is good. I just think, you know, we got to keep everybody healthy, kind of get to the regular season with the guys that we want to get to. Maybe there's a hole or two to fill on cut-down weekend like there always is. You know, we're always keeping our eyes on other teams and the other NFL rosters as the preseason games go through. So, you know, our staffs are hard at work. You know, this next couple weeks really looking at the other rosters. So if we can add and improve, that's what we're going to do. So when I look at running backs, Bob, and I look for something got to be about a guy that stands out, right? I don't know what that is, but it's one of those I know it when I see it. And so I think I see it with Kerryon Johnson. I mean, there's an acceleration from north to south, and I think a mature vision that he has, and he sees it and breaks it down and sets up blocks. Am I accurate in my assessment? Yeah, you could be a scout for us. Yeah, well, hey, I'm always looking. So. Yeah, no, you know, Kerryon's a very instinctive runner. That's one thing when we watch him in college, like it jumps off the screen when you watch him. He's patient and he's instinctive, and those things are hard to really teach. You know, guys can get a little faster and a little quicker, but if you don't have natural instincts and you don't have patience as a runner, then, you know, it's really an uphill battle. But we're happy so far with Kerryon. Bob, stay with us. Got a couple of more minutes left in the quarter. The general manager will remain in their booth while they attend to an injured Giant. Giants tailback Jalen Simmons, first-year pro out of South Carolina State, the injured Giant, and good to see him walking off under his own power. Back with general manager Bob Quinn. You talked about physicality. A lot of that is due to your draft, too. When you look at, we've talked about Ragnow, we've talked about Johnson. Deshaun Hand, Chris really liked the way he played last week, and Tracy Walker seems to be getting more reps with the 1s and 2s. What did you like about his length and size? Yes, Tracy Walker for us is, you know, you hit it exactly on the head. He's a big, long, athletic guy. You see his arms. He covers a lot of ground with his range, but, you know, he's down at that catch point. He really has that extra length that can be able to go in there and make a play. So, you know, he's getting there. You know, we're getting there with him, and the more reps he gets with the better guys, the more, you know, interesting it's going to be for him. You know, it was cool to see tonight, and we're talking about all the new additions, right? How about Devon Kennard with a great pass rush, and assisted by Ricky, not Jean, but Jean-Francois. When you bring those two guys in, I mean, people have to understand what important pieces those are to add to this. Yeah, you know, in Matt's defense, you know, there's very specific positions that are very important. Kennard's position's one of those, and then, you know, he had a lot of experience with Ricky Jean last year in New England, so he was a veteran we brought in late, you know, the first week of camp.
and he came in excellent shape, and he's showing up a little bit.
Offense number 17, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
The schedule is a daunting one. This division is one of the better ones in football. Assess the division for us.
Oh, it's a great division. The last couple of years, and I've been in this division, it's each week you walk in, and there's a great opponent on the other side. And, the schedule is what it is. Every team has a tough schedule. Every team in the league is tough. Our division, all three teams are going to be very competitive, and we're looking forward to that challenge.
When general managers in the offseason, everybody thinks the biggest part of your job is to build this team, and it is. But during the preseason and as the season continues, your job is not done. What's the challenge moving forward after you've already established at least 90 guys for your roster?
Yeah, 90 guys, and then, we have...
Cut down to 53, right?
Yeah, we cut down to 53, but, our staff is working day in and day out, looking at guys that maybe are better than the 89th or 88th guy on our team, and we bring guys in for workouts, I'd say a couple times a week. And if we think someone's going to upgrade the back end of our roster, we try to do that. And, as the cut-down day approaches here in a few weeks, we're, like I said before, looking at the other team's rosters because, there's a lot of players that can be on the waiver wire here in about 2.5 weeks.
This kid's an electrifying player, Brandon Powell, one of those free agents you bring in, undrafted free agents. Jace Billingsley, a lot of good and battles right now that I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Thanks, Bob. We appreciate it as always. Yeah. Great to see you. Solid draft for Bob Quinn and the Lions, and now they're hoping it turns into victories. A year ago, it's team 9-7, and now Brandon Powell, one of those guys that hopes to make Matt Patricia's final 53. He's got some things to show for this team here as they get ready to close out the third quarter against the Giants. Matt Castle remains in at quarterback. Lions trailing here 17-3 with a quarter left here at Ford Field. Flag on the play. Amir Abdullah crawls past the 35. Second remaining.
Just to go back with 1 second remaining, I want to go back to that last defensive series, and when we had
run, holding, offense number 65, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Crosby on the hold. But I saw Ashawn Robinson go in. And so that's a message. You don't send a guy in that's an established starter late into the third quarter. So that tells me there's competition happening on that defensive front. And frankly, I think they need the competition because that's one of the question marks that I have. Two interior defensive tackles for the Lions.
Another question mark in the fourth quarter. Can this team come back? They trail 17-3. Here on the Lions television network. Ready for the fourth. Matt Castle and the Lions down by 14 and a long way to go to pay dirt. Screen to Abdullah. Oh, upended at the 15-yard line.
Now, I'm wondering if this is going to be a penalty, because if he's leading in a linear position with his helmet, then I'm assuming this would be a penalty. Let's take a look at number 29 coming into your screen. See, that's the rule right there. That is the rule. That they're trying to avoid that type of tackle with a head in his body in a linear position, and he's hitting with the top of his helmet. So they missed one.
Leonard Johnson. Sidearm feed, and it's caught by Dontez Ford. Detroit Lions season tickets are still available, starting at just $417 per seat. Call now to learn how you can earn $50 in stadium credit when you purchase season tickets during tonight's broadcast. Numbers on the screen, 313-262-2222 to speak to a representative right now. They're standing by. That's 313-262-2222. Kerryon Johnson in at the running back spot. Lions have reached the red zone just once tonight. Castle doubles, and that's a fumble. He was drilled. Romeo Okwara right in the middle of the chest. Look at this one.
Well, he just is going to beat right here. Robinson, number 70. Robinson got leaning forward. So anytime there's an offensive lineman leaning forward, a defensive lineman will use his momentum, pull him down and run a quick swim. McWard did a good job of keeping his head out of the contact, moving it off to the side. Man, that was a beating.
From the 32, Raymond at the 40. And the Giants with solid field position because of a strong defensive stand.
A'Shawn Robinson had 4 tackles last week in the loss to Oakland. The lone starter on that defense playing here in the fourth quarter. What's the message here?
Well, it's one of two things. You need to get in shape or we need more out of you. Because everybody else, you got 10 guys down. He's still up.
Kyle Lauletta inside give to Robert Martin. First to the outside, plows his way for a first down before he's shoved backwards.
Boy, it's good to see earlier in the game. This is a feel-good story about a guy who had such a promising year last year before it was cut short. Torrey Petrie has more on that.
Yeah, Kerry Hyder Jr. is back out there after tearing his Achilles in that first preseason game last year. He said it feels good to have that first preseason game behind him. He's now a year removed from that injury, and he's happy to be back out there playing again. Coach Patricia said that he feels like Kerry just really willed himself to be ready for this preseason. Kerry says his motto has just been keep chopping wood.
He was really good a couple of years ago. You get Kerry Hyder, you get a healthy Kerry Hyder into this lineup, Chris. A guy who in 2016 had 8 sacks, and you look different up front.
Now, this is what Torrey was referring to, the injury last year, non-contact injury where he hurt his Achilles tendon. Unfortunately, lost for the year. But you know, we talked about where people start looking, not just with the Lions, but all around the league, as you're going to move defenses, smaller ends or smaller guys inside to create one-on-one matchups. Bob Quinn was just in here saying we want position-specific players. Well, Kerry Hyder can be that quick matchup that you play on third downs over an offensive guard. That's the versatility he can bring.
Second and short, Lauletta. Pressure comes. Throws across the grain, and it is short. Flag on the play. Intended for Russell Shepard. Covered by Chris Jones.
Yeah. And Chris Jones, he's in good position. He doesn't have to grab Shepard. He's fine.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 43. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
It's clear. You get a penalty. Apparently, you're out of the game. Right here, the coverage is fine. He's at the bottom of your screen working on number 8, Shepard, and he grabs him. You're in position. You see the ball. You have to be able to adjust when the receiver adjusts. He was a little late. And again, a little bit of a panic move by grabbing. And out of the game.
Jones, the undrafted rookie out of Nebraska. Wayne Gallman, the lone setback. Play action to him. And a pitch and catch to Scott Simonson. 4th-year pro out of Assumption.
Torrey was talking about Kerry Hyder. When we talked to him during practice this week, he also told us, look, there is a mental part to the game that you have to overcome when you were hurt and missed an entire season last year. Now, once he gets those snaps and puts some pressure on it against an opposition like Oakland, he can breathe a little bit
easier. The biggest part is when somebody falls on your legs when you're coming back from a leg injury and you're okay and you get over that mental hump.
Ooh, good cut. Gallman's hand. And he's got a quarterback leading the way for his 2nd touchdown of the night.
It's a great cut. Wow. I'm just amazed at these athletes that play this game. It absolutely amazed me. Watch his cut right here. Stop on a dime, then burst and go side to side. And once again, the Lions are hurt by losing contain. That's 2 weeks in a row. That has to get addressed and cleaned up. I don't care if it's first team or 50th team. We still have the responsibility of forcing the ball back inside. But that's a beautiful cut by Gallman Jr. Well done.
And a Q going out there to lead the way. Will tell the rest of his teammates something, won't he?
Yeah.
Cohn's extra point is good. And the Giants continue to pile on. They're in front by 21. Scoring drive brought to you by Jets Pizza. It's the second quickest scoring drive of the night for the Giants. Wayne Gallman with his second touchdown of the night. They did it in less than 2.5 minutes. Brandon Powell is back deep to receive the kickoff.
He was really good at Clemson, wasn't he? Gallman?
Gallman,
yeah, tremendous.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, he's in his second year. Last year, 476 yards. Hey, not bad for a fourth-round pick. Here's Powell. Lowering the shoulder past the 20. Well, Lions football is brought to you on this Friday night by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Family's not just our name. It's the way we do business. Get up, get out, and soak in the summer with Labatt Blue and Labatt Blue Light. Always enjoy responsibly. Brought to you by Henry Ford Health System, the official healthcare provider of the Detroit Lions.
You're a blue guy.
I'm a big-time blue guy.
You were looking for that in Oakland last week. Nowhere to be found out there.
Nowhere to be. You ask people in Oakland, hey, you got any Labatt Blue? They look at you cross-eyed. I said, I can't wait to get back home. Jake Rudock's back in. Jace Billingsley on the receiving end of that toss. Shy of the 30-yard line.
It's good to see Jake back in. Got a little no huddle here. I like it. Let him coordinate a drive, maybe get some rhythm going offensively.
Played in 3 games a year ago. Kerryon Johnson now in at the tailback spot, out of the backfield, on the receiving end for a first down grab. Past the 35, keeps the legs churning.
That's that, we were talking with Bob. I don't know what it is, but I know when I see it, and I see it right there, rarely does he go down with one hit, right? He's always fighting and clawing for extra yards.
Don't know how you can't like him so far. And he just picked up a blitz, but it was tipped at the line of scrimmage by the blitzer, Leonard Johnson.
Well, a good thing, I mean, he was a little bit late, but at least for a rookie running back on Pass Pro, he knew where to go. And that's a big battle.
Sure
That's a mental win. Not a physical one, but hey, I'll take a mental win from the rookie.
Really athletic family. Sister's an accomplished dancer. Brother was an all-state basketball player, Mr. Basketball in the state of Alabama. Another sister who's a coach at Alabama A&M is a basketball coach. And of course, Kerryon was Mr. Football in Alabama before committing to Auburn. Second long, Rudock stands tall. Luke Wilson, a flag in the play. Tight end to the 40-yard line. Mike Jones ran him out of bounds.
Luke Wilson still in the game. TJ Jones still in the game. Here comes Abdullah in for Kerryon Johnson.
Holding. Defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
It's on the guy who made the tackle, Mike Jones.
He's going to hold TJ Jones right here. Again, you have to have the discipline to not use your hands, especially you can get holding or illegal contact because he was beyond 5 yards. He was about 12 yards.
That's a tackle, man. Blitz comes. They pick it up. Nice grab at the 50. Breaking tackles and into the Giants territory. Dontez Ford.
First down blitz. Good job of recognition by Rudock. What do we know? The MO of the Giants defense is to blitz off the edge, so Rudock goes and attacks away from the blitz, understanding that was a zone pressure. Because you see Jones backpedaling. Dontez Ford not going down without a fight.
Under 9 minutes to go in this one. A slant to Jones again. They're checking Ford rather inside the 35. Covered by Mike Jones. They're picking on the rookie from Temple a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that's the deal. I mean, teams look for matchups. You're going after 23 and say, I want 23. Just start drawing straws for 23. I want 23. No, I want him. Go at him again. There you go.
This time, they were waiting for him.
Well, this is on Ford right here. He's got to recognize zone. Then Rudock's got to throw him out of that because he's going to get him hurt. When it's zone coverage, you sit your route down. When it's man coverage, then you take the ball across. See this linebacker sitting there? That right there is zone pass coverage, Matt. When you recognize zone as a receiver, you have to sit it down or you will get hurt, especially going across the middle.
Ty Davis delivered the hurt. Rudock. Michael Roberts broke a tackle. That's running strong. Inside the 20. Big fella out of Toledo. Second-year kid who wished he had been a little bit better last year, wants to be a lot better this year. That might get him out of that funk a little bit.
Well, I really like him as a player, and I think we talked about patience with young players. This is what he can bring to the table. He's a big, strong guy. He's going to be fine. He just needs reps, and confidence. Once he gets that, he's going to be a good football player.
Opposite way, a stop and start after a nice throw. Rudolph's engineered a nice drive here. That one, T.J. Jones able to haul in.
That's what I'm talking about, where Rudolph was able to throw Jones and stop him on purpose because Rudolph can see the defensive back, but Jones can't. So Rudolph's going to give him the best possible, safest throw.
Second and short. Rudolph has a lane, instead throws for the end zone. Touchdown, T.J. Jones.
Job, Jake. No way to come back. T.J. Jones just working it. Out on Grant Haley. Nice route, huh? Jake Rudolph scrambling to his left. Easy pitch. You're a Tigers guy, right? Pitch. Put it right down the, Put it right down the middle in the 2-hole or the 1-hole, whatever that is. But that's not baseball, right?
No, that's not baseball. They don't number holes in baseball.
Oh, okay.
They do in football.
In hockey, right? For the goalie, doesn't he have holes?
That's the 5-hole.
Okay. That's the between the legs?
That's between the legs.
Okay.
Good job.
Center's throwing one through the 5-hole right here.
Yes, he is. Tom Muehlbach does just that. You can tell Hockey Town affected Chris Spielman. 24-10. Giants lead it, but T.J. Jones gets Detroit in the end zone. Kroger game summary. The numbers look pretty close except on the scoreboard. Too many penalties for both teams for their liking. They'd like to be a little bit better than about 40% on third down conversions as well.
Well, those penalties, I mean, we see that in preseason games, especially in the second half. And a lot of guys trying to make the team and getting away with stuff maybe they normally wouldn't try.
Not on that screen. Jake Rudolph, 14 of 18, 103 yards, a touchdown. Raymond swallowed up at the 22. Tori Petrie is with Barry Sanders. Tori?
Thanks, Matt. Barry, you are here for the Lions' first preseason game. Why don't you take me back, kind of tell me what your memories are from the preseason and why it's a benefit to these players?
Well, my memories are that it's definitely a grind, but for a young player, there's also excitement and hope and the thought of what's possible. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot going through your mind. You're in the playbook. It's a pretty thick playbook. There's a lot to learn, and you're playing against all these players that you've seen play on TV. And obviously, there's pressure. You know, there's pressure to perform. There's pressure you put on yourself. And so, hopefully they're just up for it.
There's pressure on this run game to perform this season. They brought in LeGarrette Blount and drafted Kerryon Johnson. What do you make of adding those two guys to the running back room?
I think those two players complement each other well. You look at LeGarrette, what he's done over his career, just a solid player. He's won, the last 2 Super Bowls. And I don't think that's a complete coincidence. And you look at Kerryon, we have big hope for him. We think he's a good slasher. That'll be, like I said before, a good compliment to the running game. And the thing about it is, they're coming in to an offense that has one of the league's top quarterbacks who's seen it, who's done it, who's had great success. You don't have to carry the team. Just be there for us if we need, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 in crucial situations and things like that. And being, also involved in the passing game.
Well, thank you so much, Barry. We appreciate your insight. It's always good to hear from Barry Sanders on the run game.
Glad to be here.
Back to you, Matt.
Tori, it's amazing. My memories of Barry in preseason was that Barry never saw the field. In fact, Wayne Fonz would put 5 rookies around Barry Sanders on the sideline so he wouldn't get hit accidentally. It's a great decision by Wayne. Nice throw.
Really good throw by Alex Tanning. How often did you play during the preseason?
Back then,
Did you want to play during the preseason?
It was kind of an unwritten rule. First game you played 1 quarter, second game you played 2 quarters, third game you played 2.5 quarters. That was kind of the rule for a bunch of teams. But it's changed a little bit. And we might see the helmet rule here, or defenseless player. But for me, I across the lines, I love playing, so I never want to come out.
Defense number 45. lowering the head to initiate contact. 15 yards added to the end of the run, automatic, first down.
Charles Washington.
Yeah, let's take a look at Charles and see what, see how the rule can be interpreted. Now watch his helmet. Let's see if the head goes down. See, he's hitting with his face mask. So I don't know if that's lowering the head. Now he's initiating contact. Could he avoid the shot to the head? He could have avoided the shot to the head. And like I said, you got to adapt and change. I mean, it's on the players. So take the head out of it completely.
Ooh, good strong run inside the 25 by Robert Martin.
I think, you know, like I said earlier, the NFL did a study, and guys that hit with their face mask with 0 concussions, when they lower their head in a linear position, which I didn't think he did, but you want to stay off the opponent's head, or you're going to get the flag.
Hey, just to put a wrap on that discussion with Barry Sanders.
Yeah, the best.
You know, I covered you and that team.
You did?
I
don't remember you.
Of course not. Why is it? I mean, did you guys? I mean, was there an offense, defense, camaraderie at all? I mean, how were you and Barry? What was your relationship like with the greatest running back in Detroit history?
I would stand in awe. I think Barry. One thing I loved about Barry's practice habits, like he would get the ball in practice and he'd run for a touchdown every time. And you know, I hit Barry one time in practice. It was Barry's rookie year. So Wayne Fonts came to me with a cigar and golf cart. He said, "Chris, I love you for the same hometown, but I got to tell you, if you hit Barry again, your rear end's back on a bus to Canton, Ohio in a heartbeat." I said, "Message gotten. Thank you." Never touched him. He's great. He's the best. He's the reason why we had some success.
Quick slant and a first down for the Giants.
You can see Wayne in the golf cart and a cigar coming up.
Yeah, I remembered. I remember it.
He almost ran me over. I got to tell you, Chris, you're going to be on a bus back to Canton.
Still one of the best quotes of any athlete or coach in this market. Wayne Fonts. Not you, Wayne Fonts.
Yeah, I know that.
Not Barry Sanders either, by the way. You know, you and I were talking before the broadcast. That 91 team was really good.
They had great players.
Number of players. Really good team.
Thomas Brown, Kevin Glover. Really underrated players.
Eric Appleside.
Yeah.
Martin bounced into the outside. Stiffened the goal line, and he's got it.
Still haven't figured it out yet, have we?
Doesn't look like it.
Still haven't figured it out. Somebody is getting nosy, and you can't jump inside when your job is to make sure the ball goes inside. One rule, do not let the ball outside. And that's probably, I don't know, I think maybe probably in 2 preseason games, the 8th time. And quite frankly, during the year, maybe 3 is acceptable. So that's got to get worked out, and that will make Matt Patricia angry.
3 out of the year or 3 in a game?
3 out in the year. Oh, you never lose containment. It's just a simple rule, man.
The extra point is wide left. The Giants, though, 4 for 4 in the red zone tonight.
Let's see if he talks to somebody. He's going to send somebody to talk to Milligan.
Let's get to our player of the game. It's brought to you by Kroger. Darius Slay, for as long as he was in there, made an impact.
Well, he loves to play football, so it doesn't matter if it's playoff or preseason. He's going to go out, eat, and make plays. And what he does best is that man-to-man coverage. Like I said earlier, Matt, corners don't get paid to play zone. Corners get paid to play man, and not too many do it better than number 23.
The best corners want to play man, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what they thrive on. And they get competitive. I mean, they're competitive with wide receivers. You know, I love the guy. I think he loves the game of football. So I can work with anybody that's passionate about the game. And he's a competitor, and he's passionate. And his play shows. The moment's never too big for him, but the challenge is never too big for him.
Yeah, we talked a little bit last week, the game in Oakland, where he was part of the Richard Sherman camp at Stanford in June, and he worked with Sherman and Xavier Rhodes and Akeem Talib. They all helped each other out a little bit.
Pretty good crew there.
Yeah. sure is. Brandon Powell slicing his way through the Giants special team, tumbling his way close to the 30-yard line. Are we getting anything clearer on that 5th wide receiver spot? If you take into account that Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, right, Kenny Golladay, and T.J. Jones are your 4 starting wide receivers.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how competition plays out. I think right now, you know, it's a battle between Billingsley and Powell. Right now, if you keep 5.
Zach Zenner in for the first time tonight on offense. Picks up a blitz. Allows the connection to Powell, who slipped the tackle and got a first down.
That's his strength right there.
Here's what we're referring to regarding that last wide receiver position. Chris Lacey's got some size. Tio Redding has good catch space. But Powell and Billingsley got that little shake,
yeah,
don't they?
And don't forget, some of those younger guys are obviously eligible for practice squad. Give it to them. And not on that tape in particular, but you talk about, we asked Bob, right? Somebody has to have something. Everybody's a good athlete out here. So what's Brandon Powell's something?
What separates you from anybody else?
Yeah, Brandon Powell's something is run after catch. Right. And he's a running back when he gets the ball in his hands.
He used to be a running back in Florida. There's a connection. See how often they use their tight ends. That's Marcus Lucas, 6'3", 260-pound first-year player out of Missouri.
Going back to that tight end position now, I am waiting for Roberts to come. I don't know why I like the guy. I just think he's so big and talented and fast and strong. And I'll tell you, his blocking, I watched him block tonight. His blocking was pretty solid.
Touchdown machine in Toledo. Center out of the backfield. Broken tackle. And took a man head on at the 43-yard line.
So people ask me, how can running backs take on hits without lowering their head? This is how. Zach Zenner keeps his head up because they're vulnerable to that penalty too, and actually lowers his shoulder and delivers a blow with his shoulder.
Can't feel good for Mike Basile. He's the rookie from Monmouth who's on that punishing blow from center right here.
Yeah, so see, I've been talking to people about Twitter because I'm Twitter, whatever it is. I've been passionate about this rule, and I watch him take his head out of it and lower his shoulder. See that? He lowers his shoulder and delivers a blow. So it's certainly possible for a running back to lower the shoulder and still deliver the blow without putting his head down in a linear position and his eyes looking at the ground. And we're all learning and growing with this. So officials are going to make mistakes, but I do believe that the game will be better for it. I absolutely believe that with all my heart. We're still getting good physical contact tonight.
Well, you like the way Zenner runs.
Yeah.
The question is, do they have room on this team for him? 2nd and 10. Nice grab. Nice route by Tio Redding. Slips a tackle to the 15.
Recognition by Tio Redding. This ball is purposely underthrown because the defensive back is on top of him. The blitz is coming. Tio Redding sees the blitz and understands the comeback. That's a good job of Rudock throwing him open.
Well done by Redding, a hometown kid who played his college ball at Bowling Green.
Future home of my daughter is going to be a Falcon as a basketball player for her 2020.
Good chance to see her. Not far from this area either. Rudock on an out pattern. Redding again.
Tealson.
About just under the 2-minute warning.
Un-Falcon believable for Tio Redding.
All right, the offensive play of the game is presented by the Lee Steinberg Law Firm. This is the connection. Stafford to Theo Riddick for 42 yards. And does anybody do it better than Theo Riddick out of the backfield? I don't think so. Not in the NFL.
There's a couple that are really, really good, but you can make an argument, certainly, that he's the best. And I was talking with Bob Quinn off the air. I'm saying, Bob, I'll tell you, if on 3rd and 3, I put Riddick in a slot, and I get a linebacker matched up to him, and they're showing me, man, that's money all day.
Amazing the impact that he's had through the air at that position. Rudock tosses incomplete. I was trying to think of who he reminds me of. Do you remember Eric Metcalf?
Yeah, I played against
the
there.
Cleveland Browns. Well, sometimes, you know, I mean, you played against a lot of guys.
I haven't had that many hits to the head. I still can bring it in.
All right. Does he remind you of him a little bit? I mean, his father, Terry Metcalf, played for the Cardinals, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah, Terry was really good.
Yeah.
Eric was a little smaller than Theo. Dexter Carter was another one that was a beast coming out of the backfield. There's so many of them. I'll tell you a guy that's good that people might not know. See the run after catch right there?
The balance up by Powell to get inside the 10.
Yeah. A guy that I really like coming out of the backfield presents problems is a kid by the name of Chris Thompson with the Washington Redskins.
Sure. Yep.
He's outstanding. There's a lot of guys, and there's a place for guys like that.
He's their Theo Riddick, isn't he? Rudock throws. Lacey with a grab inside the 5 on 4th down to convert.
Watch Brandon Powell avoid the offensive pass interference right here. This is a veteran move by a rookie. I wish we could show it. We don't have time. We'll try to get back to it, but it was just a great heads-up play by Brandon Powell to avoid the offensive interference on the pick play.
So 1st and goal now for the Lions. Rudock to the corner, and Lacey didn't turn his head. A flag on the play, though. That's interference on Mike Jones. It's been a little bit of a struggle for the rookie out of Temple.
It's like with young offensive linemen, you got to be
Pass
patient.
interference. Defense
with
number
young
23.
corners.
The foul occurred in the end zone by Rule. The ball was replaced at the 1-yard line, automatic, 1st down.
And just a reminder, Jones 1 year at Temple, 4 years at NC Central, North Carolina Central.
Watch the pick play and watch Brandon Powell avoid pass interference right here. Now take a look at this. This is really smart and a veteran heads-up play by avoiding the contact, forcing Jones to go through him. Well done, Brandon.
First goal-to-go situation for the Lions tonight. Rudock rolls the pocket. Got a nice block from Zenner. Got the corner and lunges for the end zone. But they're going to mark him out of bounds at the 1.5-yard line.
Well, his receiver ran the wrong route. This was a straight sprint out. And his receiver runs inside, which cleared the way for Jake Rudock, but the route was run poorly by Chris Lacey, the rookie out of Oklahoma State. He had a miss route. He was supposed to break it out, and Lacey broke it in, so Jake decided and made a good decision to tuck and run. Here's Lacey up there. He's running inside. Jake's expecting to go outside, but Jake's shown good athletic ability and speed. Almost gets to the end zone. Here's an all-22. Now watch Lacey up here. He's going to come inside. Jake thought he was going to go outside. See this natural sprint out? So he can't throw that by virtue of the angle. So he's, in my evaluation, ran the wrong route. And Jake understood there was nowhere to go, so he tucked it and ran. But that he'll learn, you know, again, this is, the coaches have great patience with young players, especially young players with talent. And so the more talent you have, the more mental errors you have, you're given.
Rudock 15 of 19 for 140 yards and a touchdown in the second half. Blitz comes. They pick it up, and it's incomplete.
Throw it away from the DB, not to the DB side, Jake.
Yeah,
you know that.
Grant Haley got a good jam on Chris Lacey. Check this out.
Yeah, it's fine, but, you know, Jake puts his ball on the outside shoulder. It's there. He throws it right to where the DB is. Throw your man open, put it on that outside shoulder so that left hand can't get there. And you turn the body of the receiver naturally by the flight of the ball.
Haley, a Big Ten product out of Penn State. Honorable mention all-conference a year ago. Rudock on 3rd and goal. This comes again. And it is caught at the 1-yard line by Powell. Sure was.
Great tackle to prevent the touchdown. Outstanding effort by Johnson, number 29. Beautiful. Punch it in here. Let's go, boys.
4th and goal. Rudock with a quarterback sneak. Reaches for it. Waiting for a signal.
There it is.
There it is.
Good finish. Good job, Jake. Good drive. Way to compete. Decent surge up front. Second effort. Reach it over there. Attaway. Well done.
He'll take it.
Why not? Way to compete, Jake. Yeah, he approves. I think that's about as much emotion you'll get out of him. I think that's a look of approval, is it not?
I was going to say, I've seen him emotional, but when you're down 30-16,
well,
and you've seen some of the struggles your team has had tonight, and you saw last week, as he told Torrey Petrie at halftime, still got a long way to go.
But you're still looking for your team. Are they going to compete till the end? And this team did tonight.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. And the extra point is through, and it's 30-17. Jake Rudock leads a 71-yard drive. They used 14 plays and 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Nice comeback game for Jake. I think he knew he struggled last week.
Well, who do you give the edge between Rudock and Matt Castle?
But I still think it's a battle. I mean, certainly Jake got more opportunities. The interception you see there for Castle wasn't Castle's fault. T.J. Jones dropped the football. But I like what Jake, you know, and we talk about toughness, right? Because Patricia's bringing, I want to bring toughness. And, you know, everybody thinks that with physical football. He also wants to bring a mental toughness. And so how are you going to respond to maybe an outing that Jake himself wouldn't approve of last week? He came back here, got a second chance, and really performed pretty darn well. Now, granted, it was in the second half of a preseason game. Still, he played pretty darn well, and he got the ball in there on second effort on the quarterback sneak.
Threw a lot of passes tonight, 30 passes. It's quite a few for a preseason game, don't you think? Khalif Raymond received the kickoff. Backpedaling inside his own 5. And a slide at the 14. Torrey Petrie.
Yeah, guys, speaking of quarterbacks, Jags cornerback Jalen Ramsey has some opinions on the quarterbacks around the league. He shared them in a GQ article this week. And yes, he weighed in on Stafford. He said, he's straight. He's not the best. But Golden Tate had some thoughts to share on that this week. Reporters asked him about it, and Golden's response was, what happened the last time the Jags played us?
Yeah.
The reporter answered, well, 2 years ago, the Lions won, and Ramsey was crying on the bench. Golden's response was simply,
Ramsey had 6 tackles in that game. Torrey, remember, I mean, Golden Tate and Jalen Ramsey are pretty tight. So that might cause maybe a little bit of a riff. You could possibly see it because Golden Tate's a huge supporter of Matthew Stafford, and why not? He's had career numbers with Stafford. So preseason game number 2 is in the books. 30-17, Giants win it. Detroit 0-2 in the preseason. What's your takeaway from this home opener in the preseason?
Well, my takeaway is going to be Patricia's takeaway. We're not good enough. We have to get better in all phases, and that's true. I certainly think that there were some bright signs. Defense still, to me, has too many holes, and they'll work that out, and hopefully they'll work it out for the Jets on Monday night.
Next week, a national game down in Tampa, and we'll be back with you here on the Lions Television Network 2 weeks when Detroit closes out the preseason right here at home against the Cleveland Browns. For my partner, Chris Spielman, Torrey Petrie, our producer, Rob Eller, our director, Mark Estefano, and our entire Fox Sports Detroit crew, I'm Matt Shepard saying so long from downtown Detroit. Again, the final score, the Giants 30, the Lions 17 on the Lions Television Network.